Hello everyone, this is Farwa Batul and welcome to the course of O-Levels Computer Science. So, in my previous video, we have discussed the difference between serial and parallel data transmission, right? So, in this video, what I am going to teach you, here I am going to teach you the different modes of data transmissions, right? And what are these? The very first is the simplex, then we have duplex, then we have half-duplex data transmission, right? These are the three different modes of data transmission. And here in this video, I am going to tell you that what is the difference between these three, right? So let's begin with it. Okay, the very first is the simplex data transmission. Then we have half-duplex or duplex, right? The third one is the duplex data transmission. So let's see these one by one. If I talk about simplex data transmission, right? Then in the simplex data transmission, you only have one direction to transmit the data. What it means? It means that if I have a sender and I have a receiver, I have two devices and I need to transmit the data in between. So you are going to transmit the direction in only you are going to transmit the data in only one direction. It means if this is my sender and this is my receiver, then the data that needs to be transmitted is only going from sender to receiver, right? Only in one direction from sender to receiver in this way, right? So next is my half-duplex data transmission. So if I talk about half-duplex data transmission, then I can transmit the data in both directions. What it means? It means that you can transmit the data from a sender to a receiver and from receiver to a sender, right? You can transmit the data in two directions, from here as well as from receiver to back to the sender. So this is the difference between simplex and half-duplex. What's more, one thing that is important is you can transmit the data in both the directions, but at one time only one direction will be only one direction will be used, right? It means if I talk about one time, then only one direction is preferred or one direction will be used. Either you can transmit the data from sender to receiver or from receiver to sender in one point of time, right? You cannot transmit data simultaneously, right, at the same time. So this is restriction in half-duplex data transmission, right? You need to transmit data in both the directions, but it needs a different time. What it means? It means that if I want to transmit in both the directions, that at one time I need to transmit from sender to receiver, and at the other time I can transmit from receiver back to the sender, but I cannot do this particular data transmission at the same time. So this is the restriction over here. Now let's move towards duplex data transmission. Here we are going to transmit the data in both directions. It means from sender to receiver and from receiver to sender. And one best thing over here is that you can transmit in both directions simultaneously. What it means? It means at one time I can transmit in both directions. At one time data is can be transmitted in both the directions, right? So this is the best thing of duplex data transmission. What is the best thing? That you can transmit the data in both the directions simultaneously. Okay, let's take an example to make it more clear to you, right? So if I talk about simplex data transmission, then it is very easy. I am transmitting the data from a computer to my printer, right? I do this kind of transmission on almost daily basis, that I transmit my data whenever I need it um, to be printed on my printer, right? So this is the example of a simplex data transmission. If I talk about half duplex, then here I can talk about a walkie-talkie. I can talk about a walkie-talkie device, radio device, right? A walkie-talkie device is the one in which you have a push to talk button. What is that? You have a push to talk button, and if a local user or a user just wants to talk to a person that is present at a remote location, let's suppose this is a user and this is my another remote user, and I want and my user wants to talk to remote user, then it has a walkie-talkie device, and in this particular device you have a push button, push to talk button. So if the local user wants to talk or wants to transmit his voice, then he needs to press this particular button, and once this button is pressed, then the transmitter gets on, and once the transmitter gets on, the voice is going to be transmitted from local user to the remote user. And this particular button, when this is enabled, then only the transmitter mode is on and the receiver mode gets off, which means that the user cannot listen to the remote user, right? He can only transmit his voice. So this is a walkie-talkie, right, where you can only transmit at one time, and at the other time you can just receive the other voice once your push to talk button is turned off, right? So this is the example of half duplex data transmission. And what is the example of duplex? It is very simple nowadays. If I talk about phone calls, then the broadband connection in my phone devices basically helps us to create a duplex data transmission, right? The phone calls nowadays, because in these phone calls you can receive, you can transmit in both the directions at the same time, right? You can just transmit your voice as well as you can listen to the other person at the same time. So this is the example of a duplex data transmission, right? The broadband connections nowadays. So this video is all about simplex, half duplex and duplex data transmissions and the difference between them. I hope this is clear to you, and now in the next video we are going to discuss an example, and in that particular example you are going to select what kind of data transmission method or the mode is suitable for that particular example, right? So please stay tuned, stay connected, watch all my videos so that the course can be more clear to you, right? These all videos are interconnected to each other, right? So thank you so much for watching it. Please subscribe to the channel, share these videos to as many students as you can so that we can all just help each other out, right? Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. See you in my next video.